What is going on, guys? In today's video I will show you the best Torment Warlock build in last Epoch Season 2. So in this guide I will give you a quick overview of the setup. Then I will explain what skills and upgrades should you focus on. Then as well we'll see what is the best gear and how to get it for the endgame. And then finally we will go over the passive tree, stats, your skill rotations, and even what idols and blessings should you use. So we would be able to get the highest damage possible and much more. So this is a powerful spellcaster that taps into the forbidden magic by using the tonic fissure that summons tormenting spirits from the depths below. These spirits will relentlessly pursue enemies and apply torment, which is a powerful and nasty curse that deals sustained necrotic damage over time. While our main DPS comes from the torment, we will also use other spells for maximum impact. So by us using the Reblood, it will directly grant us a significant boost to flat spell damage. Meanwhile, the tonic fissure will activate chaos bolts, which then will trigger the Reblood that creates a vicious chain of effects for the widescreen explosions. Then also we'll utilize Profane Veil because it offers excellent survivability, and also cast Profane Orbs, which is an extra high damage spell. On top of this, these hit-based skills will benefit from increased critical hit chance, thanks to the acid skin granted by the Forbidden Chasm node. And for optimal performance, for gear I will recommend to equip the Bone Climber Barbute, which will grant us ward based on the necrotic resistance. Additionally, unique items like the Marinus Lost Soul, Pearls of the Swine, and the Twisted Heart of the Onkeros will play a major role in pushing our build to its maximum potential. So let's start off with our skills, and we are centering our build around the Tonic Fissure, with these type of nodes invested. So the skill will summon spirits that inflict torment, serving as our main damage source. We've chosen nodes like the Twisted Waves to stack necrotic resistance and give us a massive damage boost. Then we get the Grim Tide, which is a key here too, as it converts generic critical strike multiplier into more damage modifiers. Then also we are proccing Chaos Bolts through the Chaotic Rupture, which makes the Forbidden Chasm node essential to apply Acid Skin. And finally we pick up Acid Bane to gain critical strike chance on all hit-based spells. Then our second skill is the Reblood, that is used primarily as a mana filler and an excellent secondary damage source. We are using nodes like the Arcane Absorption, which gives us solid ward through its blood orbs. Then also we've taken the Arcane Fortress, which converts those healing orbs into the ward instead of health. And to push ward generation even further, we are investing into the Cleansing and the Hematology, which maximizes the value of the orb even more. Then our third skill in this setup is the Profane Veil, which is a channeled ability which offers powerful offensive and defensive buffs. You will want to dodge every incoming hit while channeling, especially when using the Spirit Plate, since it causes your armor to scale damage over time. Then also we will take Scorn for massive global damage boost. Then on top of this we even take Profane Orbs, which now enable you to cast orbs while channeling. And lastly, don't skip on the Hex Flurry, because it offers exceptional DPS scaling. Then Chaos Bolt skill comes next, acting as our primary hit-based damage skill. He is going to be automatically triggered by the Tonic Fissure. We will want to invest into nodes like the Exalt in Misery and Doom's Vindication for strong damage multipliers. Then Exacted Libation is also essential, as it helps us to trigger Reblood effortlessly. Then the small loads like the Chance of the Snow and the Scatter will add the Chill and Fear effects, which adds more control to our kit. And don't forget that you don't need Chaos Bolts on your skill bar, so instead we will run the Transplant. And lastly we are running the Bone Curse skill. Thanks to the nodes like the Curse Limbs, it will apply curses for 5 seconds after casting. Then with the Sigil of Morality, enemies are also afflicted with the Mark of the Dead, and we will gain bone armor through the Marrow Teeth. And on top of it, since we're equipping Pearls of the Swine amulet, we are also benefiting from the Decrepify effect, which is layered into this skill to boost its effectiveness to the brim. Next up we got the passive tree, and this is how it look like in the accolade category. We mainly went with nodes that gives us more armor, increased intelligence and necrotic resistance, then ward gain and ward retention. Then next we got our Lich category, and here we mainly want to invest into more intelligence, increased mana regen, more health, increased necrotic damage, and spells damage now leeches as life. Some of our nodes will decrease our health, so we'll negate these negative effects. And then finally we are also heavily investing into the Warlock category with all of these points allocated like this. So we want to go big on increased mana regen, more intelligence, more health and armor. then less damage taken and more damage done while channeling, then also more chance to double our damage and increased cast speed. Next up we also got the Weaver tree, and as I'm still experimenting so it's not fully done, but for right now this is the most optimal way to build it for pretty much most of the builds. So we start right here, then go like this, then pretty much keep making this type of circle and then end it at around this point. To make the most out of our Weaver will items, we want to aim for items with a higher Weaver will, which is closer to 25 to maximize potential upgrades. Also, what at least I like to do is run level 100 zones to increase the chance of finding the Weaver's Will item. Then also focus on the monolith timelines with unique echo rewards for the item type you desire. And lastly, you could also increase the timeline corruption to enhance the reward quality even further. But overall, this Weaver tree will offer an alternative path to enhancing unique items, which will allow you to grow stronger by doing specific endgame content. Next up we got the idols, and this is how it should look like. So we're using two size 3x1 heretical grand bone idols, with modifiers like the curse spell damage, necrotic resistance, increased armor, and ward decay threshold. Then also we got two more size 4x1 heretical ornate bone idols, with increased duration for profane veil, necrotic resistance, increased cooldown recovery speed, and increased movement speed. Next we have one size 2x1 humble weaver idol with necrotic penetration, minion necrotic penetration, and just necrotic resistance. Then also we got two size 1x1 small weaver idols with necrotic penetration and necrotic resistance. And lastly we got one size 1x2 stout weaver idol with a health gain on kill, increased health, increased damage over time, and chance to apply frailty on a hit. Next up we got our blessing setup, and this is how it should look like. So we get the grand emptiness of the ash that gives us critical strike multiplier. Then also we went with the grand resonance of the sea that gives us ward per second. Next we want the Grand Resolve of Humanity that gives us more to all resistances. Next we got the Grand Bulwark of the Tundra that gives us increased armor. And lastly we got the Grand Body of Obsidian that gives us even more armor. Next we have our equipment, and for the head we are going with the Bone Clamor Barbute, with main modifiers like the Curse Spell, Armor, and Necrotic Resistance. We went with this to primarily allow us to gain ward per second by stacking the Necrotic Resistance. Then for Amulet we got the Pearls of the Swine, with Physical Resistance, Critical Strike Multiplier, and Necrotic Resistance. This amulet will make our bone curses apply Decrepify, which as I mentioned at the start is a curse that causes enemies to take 15% more damage over time. Then for the weapon we got the Mariner's Last Soul with necrotic spell damage, curse damage, and critical strike multiplier. This weapon has great DPS, and with tier 7 critical strike multipliers we will boost it even more. Then for chest we got the Immortal Regalia with armor, more levels to Ketanic Fissure, and more necrotic resistance. Then for offhand we got the Opulent Focus with increased cast speed, necrotic and elemental resistance, and critical strike multiplier. Next we got the Flames of the Midnight Ring with the Ward Decay, Intelligence, and necrotic resistance. We mainly went with this one because it gives us a 20% movement speed buff and an additional necrotic penetration. While for the belt we have the Chains of the Uleiros with mana, potion slots, necrotic resistance, and increased cooldown recovery. Then also we got the second ring called the Ivory Ring with increased mana regen, intelligence, necrotic resistance, and ward. Then for the gloves we have the Eternal Gauntlets with armor, increased cast speed, and more intelligence. Then for boots we got the Vinos Chariot with armor, increased movement speed, and more to all resistances. And mainly this gives us 40% multiplier to the Profane Veil. And lastly for the relic we got the Twisted Heart of the Onkeros with increased health, critical strike multiplier, and more cast speed. This is the best case scenario setup, which should be more of an example of what stats and modifiers to look for. But no matter what gear you have, just try to build around the necrotic resistance, critical strike multiplier, and cast speed. And now finally we've come to the gameplay, and I will show you two different rotations, so one for general AoV farming and the other one for single target / against bosses. So first up we got our AoV rotation, and for this one we want to start the fights by applying the Bone Curse, by hitting the enemies with the cursed limbs, then keep spamming the red blood to restore mana and ramp up your damage. Then next cast Ketanic Fissure regularly to spread torment across enemies. Then when facing bosses or tougher targets make sure to land the initial strike of the Ketanic Fissure to trigger our acid skin. Then next channel the Profane Veil for near invincibility and for increased damage, and to fire off profane orbs while holding the channel. Then next use Transplant for quick repositioning. And lastly, as you move through the echoes, let most of your automatic effects, like the damage over time and trigger procs, eliminate the rest of the weaker targets. And then second, we got bossing, which to be honest I've already covered a little bit in the first rotation. But to basically summarize it, then this time we want to start the fights by keeping all of our buffs active and making the most out of them while they're up. Then also always land the initial hit of the Ketonic Fissure on the bosses to ensure that the acid skin is applied. Then next use Profane Veil on the cooldown to maintain its powerful uptime. Then next hold on to the Transplant for emergencies and not to burn it too early. And finally, when bosses prepare their big telegraph attacks, then channel the Profane Veil to absorb the hit and stay in the fight for longer. And that's about it. So let me know what you think about this build in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, then you definitely don't want to miss my previous top 3 best builds video, where I showed even more powerful builds. So click the screen now and I'll see you in the next one.